Hey, give it up for the last performer, Grace. Wow. I felt like I was listening to the voice of an angel calling out at me. Is she here? Because I want to find out what language she was singing, and it sounded like a foreign language. Oh, it's Portuguese. Oh, that's so cool. All right. That's great. I love that music that just takes me to like a faraway place, just like some of the other performances I listened to tonight. You know, like the flute performance. That was great. You know, as soon as I heard the name Lizzo, I had a different picture in my mind about who was about to come on stage, and she turned out to be anything like what I was imagining. Instead of like a black female rapper, it was a white girl, blonde hair to play flute. But you were great. I'm glad to hear that. And so now when I think of Lizzo, I actually might associate her with a different person. So, but hey, give it up for Johnny and Francesca as well. You guys are awesome hosts. This is my second time doing comedy here, open mic here at the Starry Plough. It was last Tuesday I did it. But I liked it so much. I love the vibe, love the crowd, and I love the host. And I said, I'm going to do it again this week. You know? I know there are probably a lot of Berkeley students here, right? Is that right? Awesome. Wait. I was expecting to hear a bigger cheer than that. Okay. Is anybody graduating? Okay. A bunch of them. It was like a really loud cheer last time I did it here last week. And I also want to, congratulate the girl duo, that was the guitar duo that was on here on stage. That was really good. And for some reason, I heard that you guys were performing for the last week when I was here. But maybe I heard it wrong, because I got really emotional last week. I was like literally in the fields. I was like, oh, I'm really going to miss some of these people. But I'm really excited to see you back. But now I'm going to have to go through the whole emotional roller coaster all over again. Anyways, anybody traveling anytime soon, anywhere? Name the place.
Scotland. San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that counts, right? It's like a different place. Scotland. That's awesome, man. That's a faraway country. San Francisco, a little further to the west. Not speaking a different language, but you guys share the same politics, the same vibes, and everything. You know what I mean? But maybe there's more homeless people over there. Maybe that's the difference. I just came back from Montreal. And anybody been to Montreal? Okay. All right. Okay. Montreal is cool. Montreal is like kind of like a cheaper version of France. They speak both French and English over there. They're bilingual. I've actually been to Paris many times, and so I can compare the two places. Montreal is sort of like a less pretentious version of Paris. If all the Parisians decide that they don't want to pretend like they don't speak English with you. Canadians are cool. People in Montreal are cool. So, just like San Francisco, though, any other big city, they got big city problems. Montreal. They also have homeless people as well. But I've got to say, I'm actually quite impressed with the homeless people over in Montreal. All right, check this out. One day I was stepping out of the subway, and this homeless guy came up to me and he goes, "Bonjour, monsieur. Pouvez-vous me donner de l'argent pour acheter quelque chose pour manger?" I was like, whoa. So I was like, "Oh, oui, si. Ici, c'est quelque l'argent pour manger et je ne sais quoi, croissant de chocolat." Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I was saying. So I was like, wow, that's really cool, man. You got homeless people, but your homeless people speak French. That made me feel really fancy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it made me think that because it made me want to engage with him, and actually give him some change because he spoke French. It's fancy. And I was like, made me think that like, maybe people in San Francisco, maybe homeless people in San Francisco, they should like learn to speak like a foreign language, right? Just to like impress people, because that will really get your attention, I also went to eat at a really fancy French restaurant in Montreal. They got some really good French food over there. And I was looking at the menu. So they got all the classic French dishes, right? It was like duck confit, foie gras, poutine, and all that stuff. And I spotted a couple Asian fusion dishes there, like mapo tofu. Anybody know what mapo tofu is? Really? Okay, it's a really famous Chinese dish. It's basically spicy tofu in a chili meat sauce. It sounds really good, right? So they featured this on a French restaurant menu. I'm like, wow, it's like times have really changed here, you know what I'm saying? And so, of course, me being a good Bay Area liberal and I care a lot about political correctness, I called the waiter over right away. I said, yo, man, that's cultural misappropriation. No, I didn't really say that. I was kidding. I love different types of culture. I love sharing culture. I think culture is meant to be celebrated. You shouldn't try to own it. But I was really impressed that they had Asian fusion dishes on there. I also asked them, what do you recommend for appetizers? And out of the whole list, all the appetizers on there, he recommended a pork bao. And this is funny, right? Because I'm never sure when I go eat at a fancy restaurant that's not a Chinese restaurant, and there's like other menu items on there, and then there's some like Asian items. If the person, when they recommend the Asian fusion items, if they're really recommending them because they're good or just because I'm Asian, like does this face just say like General So Chicken? I don't know, because like people don't think of that as being like racism, right? But check this out, let's say like a black guy went into a Korean restaurant and they recommended fried chicken. That would be interpreted as being racist, right? A little bit. My family used to own a Chinese restaurant too, and if white people came in, we would never say something like, oh, our fried rice really nice, and chow mein delicious, but for you, sir, we highly recommend the hamburger with French fries. I don't know, would that be racist? Anyways, that's all I got. So, thank you. That's been great. Have a good night.